Okay, picture this for a second. You're wading through these beautiful, calm, shallow waters, maybe off the coast of northern Australia. The sun's out, the water is crystal clear, it's perfect. But, just beneath that peaceful surface, something nearly invisible is drifting by. And what happens when you accidentally come face to face with it?
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? And this isn't just some wild hypothetical. For some people, this becomes a very, very real and terrifying situation. So let's dive in and find out what actually happens when you meet one of the planet's most venomous creatures. So, our story really begins right there, in those gorgeous sunlit reefs. This is where we meet our subject, a creature that has mastered the art of camouflage, making it an incredibly effective ambush predator.
And here it is, Chironex fleckeri. It looks so delicate, right? Almost like a ghost in the water. Its body or its bell has that distinctive cube shape, but the real danger? Well, that's all hanging below. It can have up to 15 tentacles trailing from each of its four corners.
And get this, these tentacles have an unbelievable reach. We're talking nearly 3 meters long. That's almost 10 feet. It basically creates this huge, nearly invisible net of danger just drifting through the water.
Now, if you could zoom in, way in, you'd see that those long, flowy tentacles are just covered with thousands of microscopic weapons. They're called clinocytes. Just think of them as these tiny biological harpoon guns, all spring-loaded and just waiting to fire on contact.
So how does all that potential danger turn into a real attack? Well, it's not a slow thing. This is actually one of the fastest biological actions known to science. It happens in a flash. All it takes is the slightest brush against a tiny, hair-like sensor on the tentacle. That one touch sets off this insane chain reaction. The cell pops open, pressure builds like crazy, and this microscopic, venom-filled harpoon just erupts, piercing the skin in less than a millionth of a second. It is biological warfare at its absolute finest.
And the moment that harpoon hits, the result is instantaneous and agonizing. People who've been stung describe it as this searing electric shock that just spreads like fire, and it leaves behind these angry red whip-like marks on the skin.
But here's the really scary part. The attack isn't just on the surface. That venom, it doesn't just stay put. It floods right into your bloodstream and launches this massive assault on your body's most important systems. It goes after your nerves, your skin cells, and, most terrifyingly, it goes straight for your heart. And the speed of this whole thing is it's unbelievable. The pain is immediate. Then, within minutes, your muscles can start to seize up, making it really hard to even breathe. And if it's a bad sting, if enough tentacles made contact, the venom can disrupt the heart's rhythm so badly that cardiac arrest is possible in under 3 minutes.
I know, it sounds absolutely dire, and it is. But there is hope. Surviving a sting like this really comes down to knowing exactly what to do, and maybe more importantly, what not to do in those first few critical moments. Your response? It can change everything.
Okay, you need to pay very close attention to this because it's the single most important thing to remember. Do not, under any circumstances, use fresh water. It feels like the right thing to do, but it actually causes all the unfired stingers still on the skin to discharge their venom. It makes everything so much worse. You have to use vinegar.
All right, so here's the plan. First, stay as still as possible. It helps slow down the venom spread through your body. Second, you have to douse the entire area with vinegar for at least 30 seconds. That's what neutralizes the unfired stingers. Only then should you try to carefully remove any leftover tentacles. And of course, while this is all happening, someone needs to be calling for emergency help immediately.
So once you make it to a hospital, the pros take over. Their treatment plan can include everything from CPR and oxygen to some serious pain relief. They can also administer a specific antivenom, which is actually developed from sheep antibodies, and even use magnesium sulfate to help get the heart stabilized.
It is so easy to see the box jellyfish as this monster from the deep, right? A villain. But let's just shift our thinking for a minute and look at this creature not as something evil, but as an absolute masterpiece of evolution. This animal isn't out there hunting for people. That incredible venom was perfected over millions of years for one reason and one reason only: to instantly paralyze its prey, which are things like fast-moving fish and shrimp. It's simply a tool for survival. It's not malice. Now, for one last, totally fascinating fact about this animal.
It's a simple number, but it points to a kind of complexity you would just never expect from a jellyfish. The number is 24. Any ideas what that could possibly be?
That's right, 24 eyes. I mean, isn't that incredible? They're set up in 4 sensory clusters around its body. Now, they don't see images the way we do, but this complex visual system is vital. It helps them actively hunt, navigate around things like mangrove roots. It lets them position themselves perfectly. It's a level of sophistication you just wouldn't expect.
When you think about it, the box jellyfish is a powerful reminder that in nature, looks can be so deceiving. The most delicate, almost magical-looking creatures can possess some of the most potent power on the planet. And it really makes you wonder, what other seemingly fragile beings out there are hiding some incredible and maybe even dangerous secret?